Warriors post-game live as we take a look at the team stat comparison. The Raptors shoot 51% from the floor, out-rebound the Warriors by 13. And how about that assist number? 40 assists for Toronto. They held the Warriors to just 25 assists. Wow. And, of course, it's the turnovers. 15 of the 21 turnovers committed in the second half.
It's the turnovers, not the points in the paint? You see that number?
I see the points in the paint. It's all those numbers, Fezzi. You pick one. All right? Pick one. 25 points they gave up in the second half off those turnovers. So it really washes away a great performance for Stephen Curry once again. Although he didn't have the most efficient night, 12 of 30 from the floor. Give Toronto credit for that. He did drop 31 at one point. It was a Steph and Draymond show. We'll pick up Draymond Green's highlights in a second here. But Stephen Curry, 39 points, really had a monster third quarter for the Golden State Warriors. And you thought it was enough. And now you got to think about this, Fezzi. Does Steph play tomorrow night? It's a back-to-back. This is the front end of a back-to-back. And Steph logged 41 minutes and 9 seconds.
Obviously, playing all these minutes, Steph was incredible. He was dynamic from them trying to top lock him and him getting a lot of layups off of those plays to coming off of screens and being electric in the third quarter. I mean, Steph was really at one point just a one-man army. Now, with all these minutes he's logged today, you have to make a decision if you're Steve Kerr. Steph he's also played in back-to-backs and been incredible in back-to-backs as well. But I don't think that's the real problem. I think the Warriors right now, they have to figure out how they can keep this momentum. Because when Steph is playing like this is what gives you the confidence that you feel like you can make a push towards the end of the year. The Warriors are trying to string together a bunch of wins. And just we're not able to capitalize on the fact that Steph had 40 points almost in 41 minutes. That's a game that you should win.
Yeah, and we just looked at the stats. So you look at these numbers. Fast break points, 19-10, -9. Second chance points, 29-19, -10. Points in the paint, you mentioned, Bonte, 70 to 40, -30. And points off turnovers, 35-19 and -16. Now, not exclusively, but we've mentioned length, athleticism, offensive rebounding, deflections, getting to 50-50 balls. Had a big determination of this game. Yep. If I was, and I don't want to get into rotations, but you talk about Scottie Barnes, Brandon Ingram, R.J. Barrett, yep. Even Quickley with his quickness.
Yep.
To me, at some point, you got to start playing some of your athletes. And I know J.K.'s situation is whatever it is, but if I was going to pick one guy to match up physically with Scottie Barnes, I mean, and Will Richard played incredible tonight.
Yep.
But it sure seemed like they ran out of gas. Mid-fourth, totally into overtime. So, just something to think about as far as athleticism. All the things we're mentioning gets back to one thing, really. Matching up first physically and then trying to execute your X's and O's.
Think about what we saw from J.K. against Brandon Ingram a couple years ago at Chase Center. Ingram was with the Pelicans, Fezzi. You watched that game in the tunnel. They're down 20-plus in that game. J.K. defended Brandon Ingram and cut his water off in that second half. The Warriors came back and rallied and won that basketball game.
Because a few of those possessions, I thought Jimmy Butler played good defense on Ingram, but his length, much like Kevin Durant,
yep.
It doesn't matter when you're 6'11".
It's a good point there.
When you're on the road, there's two things that I see. When you're on the road, it's really important how you start the game because that determines what happens the rest of the way, right? This is a team that's been struggling. You're going to come in and be desperate. Mm-hmm. Toronto Raptors have lost. I think they've lost 5 in a row at home. And yep. So you're going against your fans right now. You're trying to find something to give them some energy. They started off the game, gave wide open layups to Agbaji coming into the game, who averages 4 points a game. He had 6 points in the first 2 minutes of the game. All right, so now the bench is in the role players are in the game. Scottie Barnes comes in, gets some easy points going to the paint. Now Scottie's in the game. R.J. Barrett comes in and is running in the fast break, getting layups. So now he's in the game. The one guy, Brandon Ingram, that didn't really get into the game until the end of the second quarter. Yep. I mean, all these guys to start the game, they gave them life. And the Warriors have to look at the way you start the game defensively. You got to put your imprint on the game that way. And then to end the game, all those guys I mentioned, they already had the confidence. Scottie Barnes, we talked about his rebounding. Emmanuel Quickley comes into the game. Now he gets, so you got to do a better job. And this is why I say defense matters, because for the Warriors, you are a smaller team. You have to be fast, offensive. You can move the ball, shoot threes. All those things are important. But you have to be the team that also stifles teams and not let them get comfortable in the game. And this is what they did tonight.
And you talk about running out of gas and not being able to execute. Overtime was 19-5.
Yep. 5 points.
It was a blowout.
No doubt. 7 points in the last basically 6 minutes and change of the basketball game. And with that said, let's head back up north of the border to Toronto and hear from the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr.
What went wrong down the stretch? You guys are up 12 with seven minutes of change. Seemed like a stream of turnovers.
Yeah, just turnovers. End of the third and end of the fourth, we just got scattered. I've got to get us better organized during those stretches. That's on me. They turned up the pressure. We didn't handle it well, and they scored 35 points off our turnovers. That was the game.
How deflating does it feel?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, you know, we're on a little bit of a run. Got a chance for some momentum. We controlled the whole game, and we let it slip.
What went wrong on the glass tonight?
Well, you know, Barnes obviously just dominated the boards. Whether we were big or small, it just seemed like he was getting every rebound. So, yeah, he was great.
Think about starting overtime big?
Not really. You know, Al was done with his minutes. He was on a minutes restriction. And, I mean, we thought briefly about Quentin, but I felt better, you know, starting the way we did. And we went to Quentin, you know, a couple minutes in. We were down 6, I think.
Yeah, you mentioned Quentin. What did you see from him? What do you ask him to improve, like moving forward?
Who?
Quentin Post.
Quentin,
yeah.
He's doing great. He's having a great season. Improved his defense dramatically. He's a really good player. He's just got to keep working, keep playing. But we're lucky to have him.
What are the optimal possessions you're looking for down this stretch? What does an optimal crunch time possession look like?
Well, take care of the ball, get spaced, you know, get the ball to Jimmy or Steph, and let them attack one way or the other, whether it's a screen or an ISO. But I kicked myself. I tried to run a little backdoor play where Steph's setting the back screen for Jimmy late in regulation, and we were going to bring Steph off of a split cut if the back cut hadn't worked, and I put Draymond in a tough spot, and that was on me. I needed a better call in that situation to get the ball to Steph or Jimmy and give them space.
Draymond with 21 points. They've been a rough stretch of games for him. Is there something to take away from just the way you played?
Draymond was great tonight. He played his tail off. Great energy, great defense. So he did everything he could to help us win. Like I said, I feel like I let us down tonight.
Buddy back in the rotation, or was that just for today?
Well, Melton was out, and we needed those minutes, so Buddy was back.
Trace scratched late?
I'm sorry?
Trace?
No, he was fine. We had him in the lineup plans, but because of the way the game was going and the way they were guarding Steph, we felt like we had to have space with our bigs, and so that's why we stayed with Al and QP.
41 minutes for Steph. Do you expect him to go tomorrow?
I expect him to, but it's a tough one, and Jimmy 37, Trey 33 with the back-to-back. Brutal loss, but we got to bounce back. Thank you.
All right, that's Steve Kerr there. And the last question that Sam Gordon of the SF Chronicle asked him, will Steph play tomorrow? And he's going to figure out whether or not Steph, Jimmy, or Draymond can go. You think about Jimmy, 37 minutes, 41 seconds. Steph, 41 minutes and 9 seconds. Then we get to Draymond Green, 33 minutes and 17 seconds. But let's break down his game. That's TBD. We'll have that news hopefully tomorrow before tip-off. But Draymond Green was rolling offensively. Think about the third quarter. 8 points in that third quarter, sparked a 17-4 run out of the locker room at halftime. 21 points a season high, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, 4 made threes. Don't ask me the record, Fezzi, when he makes 2 or more threes. It hasn't gone well this season. But overall, this is something he could build on, especially offensively.
Yeah, Bonte, what you want from Draymond is to be aggressive, because when he's aggressive, the defense pays more attention. They're more honest, because to start this game, defense was all the way back. They were almost under the rim, just daring Draymond to shoot. When he starts shooting and he starts making it, and he starts making plays to the rim, now they got to pay attention to him, which creates more space for Steph. And all those back cuts that you saw from Steph Curry and all the other guys who were able to get to the rim, Jimmy Butler included, Draymond's his role offensively is so crucial to the Warriors' offense. And he's got to keep this up. 20 points tonight, incredible. Yep. He's going to get those shots on a daily basis. He has to take them, at least attempt them, to keep the defense thinking about him.
Yeah, Draymond played a great game. I thought it was all about his shot selection. His decision-making, when to be aggressive, when to be a playmaker, when to be a scorer. And what was really impressive was at halftime he had 10 points. In the second half, he had 11 points. A lot of times you see him kind of almost have two opposite halves. I thought he was very consistent in both halves. And as Festus said, was really what Steve Kerr was alluding to with the spacing, they were top blocking Steph Curry so much. He was literally just walking up the lane, and Draymond was just feeding him for layups upon layups. The problem was at the other end, when they got stops, they didn't get the rebound. So they didn't capitalize on the beautiful offense they had with finishing their defensive possession. I thought they played pretty good defense, but the offensive rebounds, which is the last part of a defense possession, Toronto dominated that area. So they've got to figure out a way to, complement their beautiful offense with getting those rebounds at the end of the defensive possession.
Scottie Barnes, 9 offensive rebounds, 9 of his 25 overall rebounds tonight for Toronto, a monster triple-double for the young man out of Florida State. All right, Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler wasn't as impactful, longer, more athletic defenders. 7-7 from the free throw line, but just 6-16 overall, 0-4 from the three-point line. Look, overall, solid night, right, Fezzi? 19, 6-5. You'll take that all day, but in a game like this, you'd like to see him be more efficient from the floor.
I thought Jimmy was aggressive when he needed to be. Got to the rim. He's 6 for 12 from twos, which is what you want from Jimmy. The three-point shots, that's not what he's known for, but when he was in the paint, when he had the ball, he was a playmaker, got his teammates shots, 5 assists for him, 7 for 7 for the free throw line. The Warriors got a generous whistle today. I thought they got to the free throw line quite a lot. It was kind of a choppy game because of that. But Jimmy Butler, if this is a win, you're talking about Jimmy Butler saying he did a great job offensively. He did everything. He rebounded, he assisted, he scored when you needed him to. And you just want to see that continue to develop, especially with Jimmy with that second unit. I think he's doing a great job being an orchestrator for that second unit.
Yeah, the Toronto Raptors have a lot of good matchups for Jimmy Butler to defensively guard him one-on-one and not double-team him as much, whether it be, Brandon Ingram, Scottie Barnes, Ogabachi. All those guys can guard him one-on-one. But Jimmy had a good game. What I was impressed with, when Draymond and Jimmy were on the floor together, so several times where those double teams came where Jimmy just made a nice little move, threw out to Draymond, and it was a shot. Because to me, a lot of times when Jimmy Butler makes his move, that next play is already created. It's either a catch and shoot or catch and drive. And I thought Draymond, a few of his three-point shots tonight, nice catch and shoot rhythm threes, which to me makes them function better as a group. A lot of times we've been seeing Steve Kerr kind of separate their minutes a lot. If they can do that together, I think it'll be advantageous for them moving forward.
All right. We'll see it tomorrow night in Brooklyn, and hopefully the big dogs play against the Nets, who are 7-3 in their last 10 games as the Warriors dropped to 6-12 away from home. A brutal loss, but some bright spots, including that young man right there, Will Richard, coming off the bench, giving the Warriors some energy. More coming up.